This is Mariam. She's anxiously waiting for an appointment with a psychologist, and Alf. Alf is a tiny corn snake, and Mariam is terrified of snakes. It may seem counterintuitive, but to overcome the fear of snakes, she must face and might even have to touch Alf. We are all afraid of something, but this fear becomes a phobia once the anxiety you feel stops you from functioning in everyday life, and the response becomes disproportionate to the threat, like not going to work because of a fear of work. This is actually a real thing. It's called ergophobia. Going back to Mariam, was it really necessary to meet and even touch Alf? This is a technique in psychology called exposure therapy. You are gradually exposed to whatever you're afraid of until your body learns to respond without or with less fear and anxiety. In Mariam's case, after interacting with Alf and realizing he's harmless, she overcame her fear in one afternoon. One afternoon, how crazy is that? There was a professional involved though. I mean, you can't go by yourself touching snakes in the middle of a forest. Poisoning by death is probably not the best solution for your phobia. Before thinking the psychologist will make you jump off a plane to get rid of your fear of heights, exposure therapy can come in many forms. Sometimes, facing the actual feared object or situation can be quite dangerous or impossible. Instead, psychologists might recommend imaginal exposure, which is vividly imagining what you're afraid of. Or you can also try virtual reality exposure, like flight simulators. Now, suppose you're socially anxious that the very idea of entering a store to order an iced caramel macchiato scares the hell out of you. You can make a list of steps that make you least anxious to most anxious, from standing outside the coffee shop to actually receive your order. This is your fear hierarchy. You can then start exposing yourself to the least upsetting trigger and move down the list, which is graded exposure. Or screw the list. You can just jump directly to the most anxiety-inducing step. Skip the line and order that iced caramel macchiato and challenge your fears head on. This is called flooding. So why is it important to face your fear? You could always try to avoid it at all costs. After all, when you avoid what's scaring you, you feel that sense of relief and calm, right? Well, what's actually happening is you're reinforcing your fearful response, something known as the cycle of avoidance. The more you avoid, the stronger the fear gets. The short-term relief you feel might actually lead to long-term consequences. So, if you have phasmophobia and see a ghost, first try poking it. Then get the hell out of there because nothing good will come from that interaction. Except for overcoming your fear of ghosts, of course. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.